Welcome. I'm going to do another update here. My initial test didn't turn out too well. The first issue I had was the marker wasn't dropping fast enough, and a test showed that trying to run basically be the exhaust, because when that goes down, the air that was lifting it has to go somewhere, and pushing it through that 1/4 inch line all the way back through, I don't know, 20 foot of 1/4 inch line, a lot of restrictions there, and so had to build pressure not only to go down but to push all that air out. So I had to remove that 1/4 inch line, and we got two 3/8. That made it drop a lot quicker. Still, I think I've got it set at 4.5 seconds. It doesn't seem like that long, but I think there's I remember seeing somewhere in Mach 3 the timing of things, because it doesn't stop for 4.5 seconds and wait. You know, I haven't tried to time it, but from the time I pushed the button, if I can say 1001, I think it would be hitting the plate. Anyway, there's a delay there, relays and all that stuff. So then the problem was the Scribe kept digging in and wanting to drag, and I played and with air pressure and the height settings, and I just really couldn't. Well, I could get it light enough that, and then if you have a little bit of warp in the metal, why pretty soon it wasn't marking anymore. So my next solution, I wish I would be on the other side of the table. Let me move the table over. Okay. Well, what I did was originally the cylinder rod screwed into this bottom piece that holds the Scribe. And what I did was took a 1/2 inch rod, and I threaded the end of it to screw into the rod on the cylinder. And you can't really see it, but there's at the top of that rod, I welded a washer to capture that spring. Put that spring in there. It's not a very heavy spring. And then it's hard to see, well, maybe there, I put a 1/4 inch bolt with a little washer in there, so that way it won't fall off. And but yet we're floating. So now I can adjust the pressure. I got a lot more adjustment there, so to speak. I just got to set my cut height on how much pressure. So I've been experimenting a lot here, and I think I have it done. I don't know. Sometimes I think I have it figured out, and it's really touchy. I don't know if it's the metal I'm using, that little piece. I use that marker on the real heavy, on my welding table over there, and man, it put a nice deep Scribe in it and I didn't have very little pressure or anything, but I can't get that in this lighter metal, if it's a vibration or what. I didn't have quite the right connectors here for the, that's what raises the Scribe up. So I had to improvise there for now. And I may do the same thing here, make this line as short as I can. to increase the time it goes down. And the other thing is, when it does go down, it hits the plate, it leaves a little dimple. You have to really look to find it, but kind of like a real light center punch mark. And I stopped by the auto parts today, and they didn't have anything. I was looking for some compression springs. And the piano wire that I have, I think is too small. But my thoughts were to put 2 springs on these rods and then a little collar to adjust so that when it reaches almost to the bottom down there, it starts getting spring tension to slow that down. We'll see. It's just keep playing around to fine tune it. Here's some bunch of marks I made, trying every speed, or inches per minute, down pressure, and then sometimes I'd make a good one and think that I'm getting close, and then I change something and okay, yeah, like this one here is real, pretty decent mark, and then because I was coming this way and I changed something, and then we're back to not quite as good, and then I forget to write it down. I'm trying to keep track of every one of those, and these last ones here, the last 3 or 4, at least the 3, that's kind of where I was hoping to be, and I of course I think I know what they are, but I was manually adjusting the cut height, and so now I got to go fine tune it in the on the computer, so each time it puts it in there. Well, that's yeah, and I mounted, I overextended that gauge there and messed it all up. But now that I have that spring in there, and I can use my cut height, I really don't need that, because I'm, like I said, I think I'm all full pressure right now. And that was that's why another reason I had to go to that spring or a floating head type thing is when I was playing with the pressure up here, getting it down to that 10 pounds or maybe less, when it wanted to retract, so you have to push that air back through there, and I had it down low enough that it was it didn't want to raise all the way up, or if it did, it went really slow. So that solved that problem also. And the other idea is, and I still may do this, but so far I don't have a need to, is my relay here, mounting it up next to the cylinder. And I know you can buy the exhaust or mufflers for that. But as you can see, I my little deal here, 1/4 inch and then into a Y, and then there's 3/8. Well, then that 3/8 actually goes outside, so I very little I think I got the Scribe on. you can see, very little noise. So that I guess a homemade. I guess the only other thing I might improve there is instead of that 1/4 inch line, use all 3/8. And finally, I've been playing around with the screen on Mach 3, and it's just something I kind of came up with. I see I still have a few issues that I've noticed. I was using the pendant thing there when you hit the tab, and I hated that, but I forgot that I put it down here. The function that I use it for, basically the only function, is when you're running it in manual, trying to get your feed correct. And so that's what I was doing to scribe those lines. I was running at 35%, and I forget, I think that was around 100 and... I'll make sure I got clearance here. Yeah, we're at 140 inches per minute. So, yeah, I need to go back and make those corrections. As you can see on the DRO there, you can't see the plus or negative. I got it too close, or didn't make that big enough, something. So anyway, playing around with that, I tried it once before and couldn't figure it out, and you know, I don't have all those fancy that background that used to be there. The only thing is, this one here is there's a few things I haven't figured out how to change. There's this plasma and then your error down here. I can't figure out how to get rid of them or to move those. Well, I think I got it figured out. But anyway, alright, we're gonna do some more testing, and I got a test project that I want to do, and if it turns out, we'll share it with you. Thanks for watching.